Welcome to Chapter 4, Part 6, where we're going to learn how to distribute objects. So the first thing I need you to do is go to File, Open, go to your handout drive under this PC, Business Handouts down at the bottom, Shonifer, Computer Graphics 2, Chapter 4, and then 4-3, and then hit Open. What we're going to do is we're going to verify that all of our guides are showing as they should be when you open the document, but just in case they're not, we'll double check. You can move your Align panel out of the way if it's still open. If it's not, we'll open it again. But go to View, and then make sure that under Guides and Grids, that Hide Guides is showing, because that means that your guides are already showing and that option would allow you to hide them. If your Align window is not open, remember, go to View, go to Objects and Layout, and then select Align, and that should open your Align panel. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to select the top 2 yellow squares and the top 2 red squares. So remember, we do that by holding down Shift. So we are going to take our selection tool, click on the yellow square, hold down Shift, and then click on the next 2 red squares while holding down Shift. And then in our Align panel, we're going to select Align the Top Edges button. So remember, if we hover over all of these options, we'll see one that's going to be called Align Top Edges. Click on that, and it will align our top edges. Now, the 4 objects are aligned by their top edges, but they're not evenly distributed. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Distribute Horizontal Centers button. And so down here are our distribute options. So we're going to hover over these until we find the Distribute Horizontal Center, and then we're going to click on it. And what it's going to do is from the center of each object, it's going to distribute them evenly across our document. So the center points are the 2 red squares are evenly distributed on the horizontal axis between the center points of the 2 yellow squares. So now we're going to go to our application bar, click Edit, and then deselect all so that none of our squares are selected. And then we need to make sure we do it in the right order. So we're going to make sure our selecting tool is active. We're going to click on the top left square, and then we're going to hold down Shift, select the 2 red squares, and then we are going to select the bottom yellow square. Once we do that, we're going to go back to our Align panel, and we're going to click on Distribute Vertical Centers instead of Horizontal this time. So remember, hovering over all the different options under Distribute Objects, and click on the Distribute Vertical Centers. So now what you'll see is that they're going to be in a diagonal line because the vertical centers are going to be different because we selected that bottom yellow box and not that top yellow box. So now we're going to select the green square and the 2 red squares and the bottom yellow square. So deselect, select your green square, hold down Shift, click your 2 red squares, and then our bottom yellow square so that all of these are selected. And then we're going to go back to our Align panel and click Align Right Edges. So remember, we're back in Align, not Distribute. And we're going to find the one called Align Right Edges. And we're going to move those over. Now we're going to press and hold Shift and click and add in the top right yellow square and add it to our selection. So hold down Shift, and we're going to go for the top right yellow square and add it in. And then we're going to go back to our Align panel and go back to our Distribute options and select Distribute Vertical Centers again. So hovering over till we find the one we want, and clicking on Distribute Vertical Centers. Now the center points of the 5 squares are distributed evenly on the vertical axis and should be lined up on the right side of your screen. So now you're going to go to File, Save As, and you're going to save this particular one as last name, comma, first name, and then do your space, dash space, and this one is going to be called Distribution. And then go ahead and save this document, and you will turn this one in as is. So far, through lessons 1 through 6, or part 1 through 6, you should have turned in your orientation, your align, and your distribute. Now you'll move on to part 7.